Hello, everyone. I am Sean, and welcome to my Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you tuning in. I know I say it every time, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. Thank you so much for watching the video. And to those of you who have been subscribing to the channel, a special thank you to you. I really do appreciate you guys' support. It means so much to me. So thank you all. Today, we are going to be talking about Violent Night from 2022. Now, no, this is not a horror film. I think the reason that I decided to go ahead and watch this, it still shows up when you search Christmas horror. This movie still shows up as a Christmas horror movie, but it's not. It's an action film, some comedy mixed in. And I remember when it first came out, I thought it was a horror film, and I think a lot of people thought that it was going to be a horror film, maybe a horror comedy, but still. But after going and watching the film the first time, I even had a hard time knowing what I really thought about it because I was disappointed. I thought it was something other than what it really was. And so as I've been getting ready to try to do some Christmas horror here for the last few weeks of December, I was trying to find something, and this popped up, and I thought, you know what, let me do a rewatch. Let me see what I really think about this movie. I know it's not horror, but I'm going to do a rewatch. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my YouTube channel, and we'll go from there and see what I think. So that's kind of what I chose to do with this one, and that's why I'm talking about this one today. Lot more Christmas stuff coming, I promise. So we'll go ahead and get into A Violent Night from 2022. Tagline for the film: You better watch out. Brief synopsis for the movie: When a team of mercenaries breaks into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage, the team isn't prepared for a surprise combatant. Santa Claus is on the ground, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint. The film was released December 22nd of 2022, directed by Tommy Wirkola, written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller, produced by Kelly McCormick, David Leitch, and Guy Danella. Cinematography done by Matthew Weston, edited by Jim Page, music by Dominic Lewis, distributed by Universal Pictures, a runtime of 112 minutes, a budget of $20 million, and a box office of 76.6 million. So did pretty well at the box office. Let me stop there. I'll talk briefly now about the cinematography, the score, the story. So, cinematography, I think the movie looks good. I like the setting. This is a very big, beautiful mansion. I like all the Christmas lights. Love the snow. You've probably heard me talk about before. I'm a huge snow guy. I wish we got more here in Oklahoma, and that's why for years I've said I'm going to move north so I can get real winters and real snows instead of just cold and wind and occasional ice. But yeah, haven't done it yet. Um, but yeah, the movie looks good. I like the setting. The story's interesting. I like the story. It's fine. It seems fun. Um, Score for the movie's fine. I mean, everything serves its purpose here. I feel like nothing is absolutely incredible, but at the same time, it's all good. Nothing is really there's nothing bad either. It's just it does what it needs to do. Cast for the film, I'll just name a few names: David Harbour, John. I always pronounce this guy's name wrong. John Leguizamo, Alex Hassel, Alexis Louder, and Beverly D'Angelo. Let me talk for a moment about the cast and the characters. So I think the cast is outstanding in this movie. This is a very good cast. Of course, David Harbour. A lot of us know from Stranger Things. I know he's been in a lot of other things, but that's primarily what I know him from. Um, the cast does a great job. I don't feel like there's bad performances in this movie. There's a few things that are over the top, but I think that's more the way the characters were written and not necessarily the way the cast portrayed them. So I think the cast does a good job. As far as characters, David Harbour playing Santa. I mean, he's funny. He's a humorous Santa. Definitely got some issues, but I don't know. Looking at this now, I kind of this is not the Santa Claus I grew up with, not the Santa Claus I knew as a kid, but I kind of like this rendition of Santa, to be honest with you, him being this way. Um, yeah, really don't know what else to say. I don't know, other than the little girl Trudy, if the rest of the characters, anybody else in the characters, is likable. Um, Trudy's parents, Jason and Linda, I believe is their name. They're fine. They have their moments. Some other members of the family here don't seem that likable at times, but then most of them have some redeeming moments as well. So, the characters are fine. Santa and Trudy are kind of your standouts here, and then maybe the parents, and then it kind of goes down from there. But again, performances are solid. Um, yeah, it all does what it needs to do. I feel like I'm maybe going to use the word fine a lot in this episode, but yeah, everything's fine. So let's go ahead and get into the plot and start to walk through this film. Don't expect this to be a real long episode with this not actually being a horror movie and me being solo today. But yeah, we'll see. The movie opens up with Santa Claus getting drunk in a bar, and we could tell that Santa is very upset. He's frustrated about the way materialism and greed have taken over the holiday. It's not the same anymore, and he even makes the comment that this may be his last Christmas. Again, interesting opening. I kind of like the way this setup of this is what Santa's dealing with now after all these years. Is he's frustrated with the way people are, which is 100% understandable because I get frustrated with the way people are. Unfortunately, we live in a very materialistic world now, where unfortunately a lot of people are only concerned about themselves and what they have and greed, and money rules everything. So yeah, you can understand Santa's frustrations, and we get this scene here of Santa getting drunk and voicing those frustrations and talking about maybe this being the last time he does this. From there, we cut to a man and a woman. We find out that I believe they're still married. I don't think they were divorced. They're just separated, Jason and Linda, and their daughter Trudy. And they are taking Trudy to Jason's mother's house, mansion, for this family gathering, this Christmas party type thing. Once they get there, of course, we get to meet the rest of the family. We cut away once, I think, to Santa delivering some presents places and getting, a few laughs here and there for the way this portrayal of Santa is. We also find out there's this group of mercenaries that are about to try to raid this mansion and take captives and to try to get some money. We find out, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we find out it's like $300 million that they're after. So, that's the premise. These mercenaries taking everything over. They want the $300 million. It's in the vault. Santa's delivering presents. Here we go. These mercenaries are also using like Christmas code names. The main guy, played by John Leguizamo, is Scrooge. We also have I think there's a Frosty, there's a Tinsel, there's a lot of names. Gingerbread, I think, is one of the codes. There's a lot out there. Candy cane, there's several of them. But yeah, they're using these code names. They do get in. They end up taking the family hostage. They kill the security team. They kill the servants. But in the process, Santa has showed up there to deliver presents, and one of the mercenaries ends up coming upon Santa in one of the upstairs rooms. Santa gets into a fight with this mercenary. Some gunfire goes off. The reindeer on the roof get scared away, leaving Santa by himself. But Santa ends up knocking this mercenary out of a window, and he gets impaled on a icicle. I will say that watching this time, knowing what it was, knowing that it's not a horror movie, that it's just an action comedy, I enjoyed this scene. I thought it was fun. I like the setup for this movie and where we're going. I kind of like this rendition of Santa Claus. The cast all seems fine. Again, a couple of performances are a little over the top, I think, in the way they're being portrayed. But I think, again, it's not so much the cast as I think it's the way these characters are written, and they're kind of supposed to be over the top for this. So, and then this is kind of a fun little fight here between Santa and this mercenary. The reindeer getting scared and taking off. I mean, it's a fun opening. I'm on board watching this, and seemingly, like I said, now that I know what it is, I didn't find myself quite as frustrated. And was enjoying this a little bit. From there, now that Santa knows what's going on, he knows these mercenaries have taken over. Initially, it appears that Santa's going to leave. He wants out. He wants nothing to do with this. But he sees the little girl, Trudy, and he decides to stick around and try and save the family. We also find out that he ends up having a fight with another mercenary. It's another fun fight. A lot of interesting choices of weapons going on, and it's again, it's action, it's entertaining, it's funny. He ends up killing this mercenary, getting the radio from the mercenary, and then he finds that through this radio he can communicate with Trudy, whose parents had given her what they called a special walkie-talkie for Christmas, but he's able to communicate with her a little bit. Scrooge is wanting to know where this money's at, or Scrooge actually starts torturing Jason. They end up, I think, like breaking a finger, and they're going to do more to him. But Trudy ends up escaping. She's able to run and get away. Santa has a moment because he's been injured in a couple of these fights. So he has a moment where he doctors himself up, kind of sews his side up a little bit. He has a Rambo moment from First Blood. If anybody's seen that movie and knows what I'm talking about, Santa has his little Rambo moment here. Trudy is hiding in the attic. She talks to Santa over the radio, and Santa reveals that, because we also see when he's doctoring himself up that he's got all these tattoos, and Santa reveals to Trudy that he used to be like this Viking warrior before he became Santa Claus, and so he's able to fight and do these things to protect. Whether the backstory was necessary, I mean, I guess they're trying to explain why Santa is the way that he is, why he can do the things that we're going to watch him do in this movie. I don't really think it was necessary. I think it would have, you don't have to give Santa the backstory. Just let him be Santa the whole time, and he just happens to be a badass Santa. That would have been perfectly fine. But I didn't really think the Viking backstory was necessary. Does it take away from the movie? I don't know that I would say that. And there are a couple of points later in the film where it kind of shows some things. I mean, Santa mentions when he's telling Trudy the story about this hammer that he had that was his favorite weapon. That comes into play later. I mean, it's fine. I just don't know that it was necessary. It doesn't really hurt the movie that much. I just don't know that it was necessary or it really adds to it either, in my opinion. Santa continuing out a battle with some of these mercenaries. Finally, Scrooge ends up managing to get an upper hand and injuring Santa, and has him revealed, and is getting ready to kill him. And then, because of course no one believes that he's actually Santa Claus, right? And so, but then Santa, talking to some of the other mercenaries, starts revealing their real names and things they went through for Christmas, and starts getting to some of these other mercenaries as they're beginning to wonder, is this really Santa Claus? Trudy also is able to kind of cause a diversion, and Santa is able to escape. Now, let me backtrack for just a moment, because earlier in the film, when Scrooge and his group start to torture Jason a little bit, Gertrude, Jason's mother, the matriarch here of the family, she mentions that these mercenaries are being ridiculous because there was a time when her brother was kidnapped, and rather than pay the ransom, their father hired a kill squad who just came in and took out the mercenaries. This kill squad, we see they show up, and Jason's sister, her boyfriend, who is a movie star, manages to escape and take off, and he gets out to the kill squad. But then the kill squad ends up shooting him, killing him, and revealing that they are part of Scrooge's team, that they are also there for this money. So, a little bit of a twist there. They end up getting into the vault where they think they're going to get this money, and we find out the funds are gone. There's a moment earlier in the film where we kind of get a hint at maybe what has happened with the funds, but these $300 million is gone. At the same time, Santa comes across a sledgehammer out in a shed, and then uses that sledgehammer much as he would have used his favorite hammer when he was a Viking, to take out the majority of this kill squad, with just a couple of exceptions here and there. Jason then reveals to Scrooge that he's the one that took the money. He was tired of the way things were going in the family, so he took the money and hid it in a manger. That kind of seems to be the moment that was going on earlier when he gave his mom a card for Christmas that had some things in it, and she was looking at it very oddly. But yeah, so kind of a thing there that Jason has got this money. We then kind of get a scene to where Trudy has set some Home Alone traps. She mentions earlier in the film how much she loves this movie. She set some Home Alone traps that ends up leading to one of the mercenaries' death and injuring another one. But before this mercenary that is able to kind of get it back together and almost shoot Trudy, Santa shows up and saves her. Santa and Trudy now have a moment as she's finally getting to see Santa in person. Up to this point in this movie, I've enjoyed it more than the first time I watched it, now that I know what it is. It's got some good comedy to it. It's got a lot of action going on in it. And it's the kind of movie that probably, 20 years ago, 30 years ago even, I'm old, I would have really loved, because before I became such a horror fanatic, I was a huge, a lot of my favorite movies were action movies. I loved movies like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon and, that kind of stuff. I was a big fan of, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and these kind of things. And so I was a huge fan of action movies, and this movie fits a lot of those. This movie is very Die Hard 1 and 2, both. I feel like there's some tribute paid to those two movies in this movie. It's very action heavy with some comedy in there, and it's not bad. I liked it more watching it this time than I did watching it the first time, now that I know what it is. but at the same time, I feel like it drags a little. Even though there is a lot of action, there's also, I don't know, I felt like at this point, maybe it's just because this isn't my thing anymore, like it used to be, and I want the horror. But I was kind of getting ready here at this point for it to wrap up. You know, we mentioned the runtime for this film is 112 minutes, so it's almost 2 hours long, and I feel like that might be about 15 minutes too long. There could have been a few things cut out of this and shortened it up a little bit that might would have made it better, in my opinion, because I do feel like I felt um, today watching this, I felt like it was even longer than it was. I felt like I was watching over a 2 hour movie, even with the action and the comedy that were going on. So, you know, just kind of my thoughts there. It's not bad. I enjoyed the watch this morning, but the later we got into the film, the more I was ready for it to be over so I could, you know, do something else or get back to something else that I liked even better, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, back to the plot walkthrough. Santa saves Trudy. We also see now that Santa's sister Alva, her child Bert, and his wife Linda, they're left alone with this one henchman, and they end up kind of managing to get the upper hand on him. At the scene there where they're beating him up using like fire pokers and stuff, that I think is supposed to be fun. To me, it's just thought. I mean, it's okay. It's not like, again, it's not like it's a bad scene, but this is one of those scenes where I'm just like, come on, you know, we're doing a lot of the same things over and over now. Let's get through it. They do end up eventually killing this henchman. Santa shows up with Trudy. He also, you know, has a gun that he hands to Linda. She mentions that she used to shoot guns when she was younger, so she goes outside with this gun and is able to shoot some of the mercenaries and help Santa get the advantage. They take out several more mercenaries. They've gone out there to the mercenaries have gone out there to the manger and have got the funds. And so Scrooge takes the money, and Gertrude, the mom, and he and Thorpe, who was the leader of the kill squad, end up taking off on like snowmobiles into the woods, and then Santa takes off after them. Before we get into all of that, then there's a moment there where, you know, Trudy mentions a couple of times that she really wishes her parents could get back together, and we see a moment there that's, you know, I guess supposed to be a heartwarming moment where they kind of reunite, and Trudy's happy that her family's back together. So yeah, you know, pretty cool there. I mean, I guess I say pretty cool. I mean, it's, you know, it serves its purpose, but again, it's watching this, I was almost like, okay, you know, let's move on though. Let's start to wrap this up. So we then we get to Santa and Scrooge in another little shed out there. You know, Santa's caught them, but Scrooge just kind of tricked him and caused Santa to have a wreck on his snow ski, and so they then have a battle in this shed. They also end up getting outside and fighting, and it looks like Scrooge is going to get the upper hand. He stabs Santa multiple times, but right as he gets ready to kill Santa, they're near this chimney, and so Santa uses his Christmas magic to grab a hold of Scrooge and shoot up the chimney, which then, you know, because this is magic for Santa and he can shrink and do this, it doesn't work for Scrooge, and it ends up, you know, mangling his body, and he is dead. And it appears that Santa has taken care of everything. But Thorpe shows back up and shoots Santa a few times before Gertrude then shows up with a gun and shoots Thorpe. And so now we have Santa laying there, kind of succumbing to his injuries. He's been stabbed. He's been shot multiple times. You know, Santa basically dies. But all of the family gathers around and decides that not only does Trudy still believe in Santa, but now the rest of them do too. And their belief in him caused Santa to heal and come back to life. His reindeer return. They bring in a new gift bag, a note from Mrs. Claus, and also the hammer that he had when he was a Viking, you know, his long lost hammer. And then, you know, Santa and Trudy say their goodbyes, and Santa goes on to deliver presents and deciding that Christmas still matters, and thanks Trudy for believing in him. And that's pretty much Violent Night. This is not a terrible movie. Again, now that I know what it is, it's better than what I imagined the first time. It's a good action comedy film if you like action comedies. Again, I used to love a lot of this kind of stuff. Several years ago, this movie probably would have been much, much higher for me. Now, I don't dislike it. I don't think this is a really good movie, but it's not a bad movie either. It's just kind of a middle of the road movie. I feel like I've talked about a few of those here lately. I'm glad I watched it again just because now at least I know that it's not as bad as I thought. But it's not one. I don't own this movie. I watched it on Peacock today. Um, I don't think I'll ever own this movie, and in fact, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again. Now, I mean, I've seen it twice. I don't hate it. Don't dislike it. Just don't love it. It's very middle of the road. Um, if you like Christmas movies and you like action comedies, this is probably right down your alley. So give it a check. Give it a watch. It's not. I mean, and if you've never seen it, it's worth a one-time watch. I think. My scale of 1 to 10, I'll give Violent Night a 6. Pretty much middle of the road. Not horrible. Not bad. Just not great. Just a decent film. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for me on Violent Night. If you've happened to see this film, let me know what you think. I want to know your comments. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Yeah, I'm definitely ready to get back to horror now after doing this one, but kind of using this as a setup next year, probably about once every couple of months. My friends Brendan from Our Life in Horror and Bo from Critic After Dark are going to come on with me, and we are going to walk through the DC universe as far as their films. So I'll mix it up a little bit next year and have some other stuff in there besides just horror. But I don't foresee at this point it being other than just a few DC movies here and there because I'm such a huge DC superhero fan. So that's coming next year as well, and I hope that people will enjoy that also. But yeah, back to this one. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about Violent Night. Hit the like button today, please. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. A lot of good stuff coming. Still got a couple of episodes of Welcome to Derry that I'll be reviewing, and one tomorrow, I believe, episode 7. I think my review for that will come out tomorrow. Some good stuff coming next week. I'm going to be talking about the original Gremlins. I have not seen this movie since I was a kid. I'm going to go back and watch Gremlins and do a review on it. 2010's Frozen, where the trio gets stuck in the ski lift. I remember really enjoying this film when I saw it the first time. I'm going to do a rewatch and review of it and try to find some other Christmas horror to squeeze in. Looking at my schedule real quick, I know I'm going to be talking in the near future about Jack Frost. Aaron from A&B Horror Movies is going to come on. We're going to talk about the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. So yeah, some Christmas horror still to come as we get ready to wrap up the holidays and enter into a new year. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything and continue along with me. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on everything out there. Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. I have a letterbox. Yeah, follow me on social media. I try to follow back as much as possible. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I promise we'll get back to horror soon. Next episode, actually. So yeah, I'll see you soon.